Today on Monkey Life, Marmosets Sid and Chuck have their health checks, and it's a snip for Chuck.
Just need to get him up now. It's had a rough morning.
Golden-cheeked Gibbon Mikado undergoes training to help with his upcoming house move.
Good boy.
And baby woolly monkey Olivia shows off her skills as she becomes more independent. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
They're all going to have a chance to live proper lives again. Perfect.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. Over at the park's hospital, newly arrived common marmosets, Chuck and Sid, are both in line to see specialist wildlife vet John Lewis. Alison collected the tiny monkeys a few days ago, and they're settling in well together. She was told they were both boys, but on closer examination, Alison realised Sid was in fact Sydney, with a Y.
I think it's a girl. There's no penis there.
No. Sydney.
The park's priority is to look after rescued primates, so they don't want the new couple to breed, adding to the demand for space. Vet John has a solution to that, and it involves Chuck.
He's coming up for a vasectomy, basically, but also at the same time we can give him a general check over.
Chuck has been brought across the park to the hospital by Steph, one of the primate care team. She's going to be working with him every day and wants to stay on his good side. So Alison's volunteered to get him out of the box in case he's not too cooperative.
Okay. You're all right. He's a vicious little monster. Good boy. It's all right. It's all right.
Chuck only weighs 450 grams, and it's safer to anaesthetize small primates using gas through a mask rather than by injection. It doesn't take long for the drug to send Chuck off to sleep. Now John can get to work. Firstly, he prepares the surgical site.
It's non-sterile gauze swabs.
And with all the instruments sterilised and ready, he carefully begins the delicate task.
Cutting him.
A vasectomy is a small surgical procedure that will render Chuck infertile. It won't, however, affect his hormones, so all his natural behaviour will remain.
Okay, that's the cord on one side.
Excellent.
One more stitch on this side is done.
John has to remove a tiny section of each of the tubes that carry sperm out of the body. It's very fiddly on such a small patient.
That's the next cord. I'll take a section out to try and avoid the ends rejoining and making it less lightly. That's it there.
With both sides done, the operation is complete.
Well, the heart rate's picking up quite a bit.
It's always a worrying time for the team when their charges are under anaesthetic. But while Chuck is asleep, John takes the opportunity to fit him with a microchip. All the primates at the park have these so that they can be permanently identified. The final stitch goes in. And with all the necessary work finished, John has a listen to Chuck's heart.
Just need to get him up now. It's had a rough morning.
Come on, little man.
The team keep a close eye on Chuck as he begins to come round from his anaesthetic.
Sort of.
He's a bit groggy, but everything's gone well.
Yeah, with Chuck, we've had him down now and he's recovering, so that's all really good. Really pleased when they come out of that. He's had his vasectomy, given him a microchip, so really pleased with him, and he just has to recover from his vasectomy now.
Across the park, the woolly monkeys are enjoying being out in the sunshine. Over the past 6 months, there have been lots of changes for the top woolies, and the care team have been observing them closely. Woolly monkeys are very sensitive and can suffer from chronic blood pressure, so it was important to monitor how they reacted to the changes. The first was the arrival of a new baby, born to Mum Zingu and Dad Oscar, and named Olivia. But a few weeks later, elderly Oscar sadly passed away. The females and youngsters were fragile without him and needed a new dominant male. Change number 2 was the arrival of Chippy, who moved across from another group to take on the leadership role. He rose to the challenge and the introduction went well. He's now firmly established, and the 7 members of the group have settled well and are living happily together. The care team like to help keep them busy and active.
Today we have a bit of an extra special treat for the woolly monkeys. We have some grapes on the vine for them, a little bit different to what they normally have for their normal breakfast. Grapes are one of their favourite fruits, so it's going to be a little bit different way to present it and hopefully get them all geared up and excited.
Dominant male Chippy's first out and bounds over to see what's on offer. He gets stuck straight in, but even before he's finished the first bunch, he's off to find the next. Chippy's a striking male and is fitting in well with his 2 new females and their offspring.
Chippy's still relatively new in this group as the dominant male, but he really is starting to come into his own now. He's settled down really nicely. The females are all getting on with him fantastically well, which is great for us to see. And the group are really starting to bond together as a whole.
But when it comes to breakfast time, it's everyone for himself, and the group split up to search the enclosure. Young female Isla grabs a vine from the hanging feeder, while her mum Paquita finds hers on the high ropes. But her 2-year-old son Lucas isn't quite so partial to grapes and goes for oranges and apples instead. Olivia's the youngest woolly monkey at the park and rides around on Mum's back. She's not had grapes on the vine before and is eager to give them a try, but ends up with just a leaf. It seems her mum Zingu thinks they're just too tasty to share. Zingu is also mum to 3-year-old Zavi, and like Lucas, he's also opted for oranges. Grapes may be a favourite with the adults, but it's good to see the youngsters varying their 5 a day. For Zingu, however, it's all about the grapes. And this time, Olivia has more luck and gets her first taste. Grapes aren't the only new experience young Olivia's been trying out recently.
Her confidence is really starting to blossom now, and she's starting to develop her own character as well. She's getting braver, she's starting to venture further and further away from her mum Zingu. So she is getting a lot more curious about her surroundings, really testing out what her arms, legs and her tail can do for her. So she really is starting to blossom as a little character.
Olivia, like all woolly monkeys, has a prehensile tail that grasps and works as a fifth limb, allowing her to hang from branches to reach food. Or if you're a youngster, to dangle, swing, play, and generally have fun. And despite the changes in the group, little Olivia and the rest of the youngsters are all enjoying life with their extended family. At the park's hospital, Marmoset Chuck is recovering from his anaesthetic and vasectomy operation. Next in line for specialist wildlife vet John Lewis is Sid, who needs an all-over medical check. Like Chuck, Sid's a recent arrival. She's had a checkered past, and the team want to fully understand her health problems so they can make her life as comfortable as possible.
She's got really bad health issues. Her rickets is far worse than I could get even a hint of in the photograph. Whether it's gotten worse in the last few months, I don't know. She's also got no teeth in front, so we just want to do a general health check to make sure that she doesn't have any other obvious problems that we should be addressing that we're not aware of.
Sid comes easily out of her box for Karen.
She's pretty chilled, actually. I'm sort of surprised by it.
The anaesthetic will quickly take effect, and John's going to start by checking her mouth, as the team have noticed she doesn't seem to have many teeth.
She's got teeth. You're doing her an injustice. Not so they're good teeth, but they're teeth.
Oh, there are some.
Yeah, there are. Okay. They're very worn at the back.
Understanding the state of Sid's dental health will mean the team can prepare the right diet for her. Food she can eat without difficulty. Her worn-down teeth are also a clue to her age.
Don't think she's young. But it's very difficult to put a finger on the age, and I wouldn't hazard a guess, but she's no spring chicken.
Sid is significantly smaller than Chuck, and the staff are worried about her skinny frame.
She's not without body fat. Something.
But it seems her weight is not a huge concern, although like all the marmosets at the park, it will be regularly monitored. It's the condition of her bones that's more worrying.
Right, shall we get the x-rays? And as far as possible, try and keep the head and neck straight without rotating it. Legs, that's as far as the knees will extend.
I mean, look at those little arms.
Same for the elbows. I think not. You might get a foot down to there.
The X-ray and a physical examination will give John a much clearer idea of the extent of Sid's mobility problems.
Right, so a better look at things. The tibias are rotating inwards, bent inwards. Quite a classic nutritional bone disease.
A poor diet without calcium and a lack of vitamin D3 from sunlight meant Sid's bones became soft and didn't develop properly, and she's become permanently misshapen and crippled. This is not a rare occurrence in pet trade primates.
Well, yes, she's got a deformed spine, two deformed femurs, the top leg bone looks like the tibias, the bones below the knee are deformed, the elbows, the humeri, and the radius and ulna, the lower forearm. Apart from that, doesn't mean anything long-term for as long as her nutrition is now stabilised and put right. But she won't get better, the bones won't straighten out, but she won't get worse. So we're not saying she's in pain even, she's just deformed at the moment, which inhibits her ability to move about, of course it does, or jump, or use branches, but you'd be surprised how active she can be in her rather shuffling way.
With Sid's checks complete, she's put back into her box to recover from the anaesthetic. Once she's come around fully, she'll go back into her bedroom with her new friend Chuck. The team will monitor their health closely and make sure they have everything they need.
In Sid's case, she could have had any number of hidden medical problems that we weren't aware of. Because she was in such poor health with her rickets, we just wanted to make sure. Both done, both can go back together now and hopefully live happily ever after.
It's a fine autumn afternoon, and growing around the park is an abundance of seasonal fruit. Steph from the primate care team is taking advantage of the wild harvest to give the ring-tailed lemurs a treat.
Right, guys, what have we got? Sticking out lots of blackberry bits for the lemurs today. They really enjoy berries and things and foraging and stuff, so it's great to get them up and around and foraging for sort of food.
In the wild, the lemur's diet would consist mainly of fruit and leaves, supplemented in the dry season by eating insects, flowers, tree sap, and even wood. The juicy blackberries and elderberries that Steph is putting out instantly attract the lemur's attention.
As soon as we walk in with this kind of thing, we usually then get an immediate lemur swarm, and everybody gets very excited. So I'm trying my best to sort of put bits out and about. Okay, you have that bit then. That can be yours. They always want the bits in my hands rather than the bits I'm sort of putting out for everybody. Everybody's very interested in the big tub that it came in as well, so trying to move them out of the way so that I can put it up high and get them actually moving and foraging properly for it. And out of the way.
As in the wild, there is a strict hierarchy within the group.
With lemurs, they've very sensible arrangement. The girls are in charge, so Fennel is our dominant female. And then with our boys, because they have a very set hierarchy as well, Indiana and Sirius are firmly at the top. They're twins and they will back each other up and help each other out. And those two are kind of rule the roost.
And it's not unusual for lemurs to have twins.
We've got two sets here, Indiana and Sirius at the top of the pile, and Kurt and Friedrich, who are working their way up from the bottom.
And that's Friedrich on the left and Kurt on the right. Or is it the other way around? Steph uses gloves to protect her hands from the thorns on the brambles. But lemurs do not have a problem.
They're quite capable of using their little dexterous fingers to get around the thorns and pluck the berries, and they've also got sort of pads, quite tough pads on the inside of their hands as well, which help protect them. And it's actually really good for them that they have to kind of work a little bit harder with blackberry, with the thorns, so it's a bit more interesting for them than just something they can get to very easily.
As well as blackberries and elderberries, Steph is trying a more unusual fruit, rose hips, whose skins are packed with vitamin C.
I'm not sure whether they'll recognise them as a food type, but we'll see. Oh, apparently they are tasty.
And today, it seems everyone's in a good mood, and there's no sign of the normal scuffle for the best pickings.
I don't know if it was just because we had a little bit of sunshine for the first time in a while. Everyone was fairly chilled and peaceful, and there was even some sharing going on, which is unusual with the lemurs.
And the autumn berries seem to meet with the lemur's approval.
These guys do have some blackberries in their enclosure already, so they're kind of familiar with them. So putting all of these out, they were really excited, really interested. The elderberries were pretty popular. Everybody seemed keen.
But the experimental introduction of the rose hips wasn't quite as successful.
People tried them, but they were quickly dropped on the floor afterwards. Overall, I'm happy with how these guys have reacted today. It's always nice to give them a treat, give them something a bit different. And everybody actually was really well behaved. Everybody got on and had a nice, quiet, just sort of munching session, which is nice to see. So yeah, it's worked out pretty well for them. It's a good bit of enrichment.
Over at the Gibbon house, some residential replanning is going on. 6-year-old golden-cheeked Gibbon Mikado has outgrown his relationship with surrogate mum Alex and has been living alone. The primate care staff have a plan to introduce him to some new friends, but that will mean a house move. So Kat's getting him ready.
We're training him to come into this box that we've attached to his enclosure slide. Now, the reason we're training him is so that he will be able to be transferred from this enclosure to another one in the near future.
Mikado, who arrived at the park as an orphaned baby, is now an active and curious young Gibbon. And the training gives him something fun and interesting to do outside of his normal daily routine. He accesses the box from one of his 2 bedrooms and is eager to get on with the session. Once Mikado's in the box, Cat reinforces his behaviour using a clicker and food rewards.
Good boy. Mikado's actually doing really well with his training. The first day we put the box up, he was obviously a little bit scared of it, but he was very curious and came in straight away. And from that first session, we gave him lots of really positive reinforcement with all his favourite sort of treats. So he's really associating it with a really positive thing. So he's now sitting for up to a minute whilst I'm giving him some treats and stuff, and he's very calm and relaxed, so we couldn't ask for anything better at this point.
After a successful session in the box, Mikado heads back indoors for a quick swing around. He really enjoys his one-on-one time with Cat, and she'll be encouraging him into the box several times a day, every day before the move.
On the day that we're actually going to be moving him from this enclosure, it's a very stressful experience for the animals, and it's very, very difficult for us to force them into a box and make them do that without any experience. So by doing it this way, Mikado is very calm. He's used to the box being here, he's used to coming into it, and then all we need to do on the day is actually shut the door down.
He's soon back for a second session.
Come here, buddy. Good boy, Mickey.
With Cat's patience and dedication and Mikado's willingness to go into the box, moving day should be straightforward.
It's doing incredible. I'm really pleased so far. I think that Mikado will hopefully go in the box nice and calmly on the day, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And when he comes out the other end, well, we'll just have to see what happens when it happens then.
Next time on Monkey Life. We're in Vietnam to rescue 2 rare pygmy loris stolen from the forest.
It's daylight, they're awake, and they should be sleeping.
But a health check gives cause for concern.
At the moment, we're kind of hoping for a miracle. Otherwise, she's not going to make it back in the wild.